All right, the Golden Age of Strat-O-Matic Baseball, Part 2, from 1977 to 1984. The first thing I did is I put together individual season drafts, and I'll explain how that was done. So, Strat-O-Matic put together, during this period, there's 26 teams in Major League Baseball. The standard rosters had 20 players per team. So the total number of players for any given season was 520. 520 players, plus there was approximately 100 extra players per set. Let's say that's average at 105. Give or take. Some years it was more than that. So roughly, if you add all the cards Strat-O-Matic produced during these years, you had approximately 625 cards. With these 625 cards, I wanted to put together a league for each year that utilized every card that they produced, including the fringe players, as well as the players who were everyday players. So to utilize that, I had to figure out how many teams I wanted to put in the league. So what I decided to do was, I wanted to put together a 20-player roster, and to use all the players, I wanted to increase the size of the league to 32 teams. And by doing that, you now have 20 by 32. You need 640 cards. 640 cards were needed to complete a draft for one of these seasons. As you can see, Strat-O-Matic's number was a little on the low side, but Strat-O-Matic makes nameless cards. And with the nameless cards, you could put together, I don't know, approximately 20 nameless cards just by going to the baseball statistics for that year, find the remaining fringe players that Strat-O-Matic didn't print up. And what I would typically do is I'd put a talent pool together of 660 players, with at least 20 nameless cards, and I'd have a draft, and then the draft would be the 640 cards I needed, and then the weaker cards or undrafted players would be removed. So then, for each year, I created a draft. Now, Major League Baseball, with the 26 teams, this is how I conducted my draft. The two worst teams in baseball, by winning percentage, draft first and second. Then, the draft continued for the 3rd through 26 teams in baseball. The 26th team would be your World Series champion. Those are the top 26 teams. And then, teams 27 through 32, these would be expansion teams that I'd have to make up. They were expansion teams. In addition, I decided that each team with its 20-man roster for uniformity would have 12 hitters and 8 pitchers. 12 hitters and 8 pitchers for each team. Let's look at the pitching staff for the moment. The pitching staffs for the teams, the starting rotation can be done one of 3 ways. You could have, an asterisk indicates on the rotation, you could have 4 starting pitchers on the rotation. And they could pitch in a 4-man rotation with 3 days rest, and that could be your starting rotation. And then you would have 4 relievers. The other way you can construct your pitching staff is to have 2 men on rotation, then have your 3rd and 4th starter, And then a fifth starter would be a swing man. And then 3 guys in the bullpen. And then the last way to set up your pitching staff, which is simply to go with 5 men with a 5-man rotation, where nobody pitches 200 innings, or is indicated with an asterisk as going on the rotation, with just a 3-man bullpen. The other stipulation I made for pitching staffs was that you had to have a left-handed starting pitcher and a left-handed relief pitcher. And you could have one more, either starter or relief pitcher, one more left-hander. But 3 at the most, and at least 2. This, of course, utilizes the platoon situation of which the advanced game of Strat-O-Matic is played. So the most you could have is 3 players. In most of these seasons, I had to add left-handed pitchers from the fringe list to create enough talent for each team to have at least 2 or 3 starting pitchers that are left-handed. Now let me talk about the hitting for a moment. You have 12 hitters. Now, with 12 hitters, you need at least 6 everyday players. These are guys who can hit both left-handed and right-handed pitching. And then you have 3 platoons. The 3 platoons means that you have a guy splitting a position against lefties and righties. 3 platoons times 2 plus 6 everyday players is equal to 12. One rule here that will surely enrage a lot of my audience watching this video, and I hate to disappoint a lot of folks, but I use the designated hitter. The designated hitter is being used in both leagues. It just made it consistent for putting a draft together and for organizing the rosters. So the National League teams adopted the designated hitter. So going back to the original draft of players, I had 640 players per team, 12 hitters and 32 teams means you need 384 hitters in your league, and 8 pitchers. That's 8 times 32. Sorry about that. That means you have 266 pitchers with 2 to 3 pitchers per team. Also, as far as the hitting goes, with those 12 hitters, what I like to do when I put a team together is in the outfield, I like to get four outfielders, 2 everyday players, and one platoon. At second, third, and short, 4 players, same thing. And catcher, first, and designated hitter, 4 players. And if I had the right balance, you'd have 2 players for each team, for each area of the team. 4 outfielders, 4 middle infielders, and 4 corner catcher, first, DH players. I'm going to pause the video right here, and I'll get to the league teams. Thank you.